Hi, everybody. Welcome to the lecture on financial businessmen, or also known as captains of industry, also known as robber barons. So, today's lecture, I'm going to leave the slideshow in editing form because I will be having the notes right here down here in the notes area, if you just look right through here where the cursor is, so you can see at the bottom. And so you can pause and jot down some of those notes as we go through, or you can go back and take a look at the notes as you kind of review the information. So we're going to start by looking at these some of the more famous businessmen. A lot of the names you will recognize because they're either names of banks or, Rockefeller Center you'll recognize, John D. Rockefeller, Carnegie, Carnegie Hall, those kinds of things. So a lot of these names are still around. The families are still active in philanthropy and politics. And in banking and some of the other industries. Okay, so let's get started. We'll start with Cornelius Vanderbilt, and he was known as the Commodore. He became this American industrialist and philanthropist who built his wealth in transportation industries of shipping and railroads. So what is a philanthropist? That is a very important vocabulary word for the unit. A philanthropist is one that gives large sums of money on a regular business to different causes. So you wouldn't necessarily, you donate a few bucks to a charity around the holidays or things like that. That is philanthropy. But someone who is known as a philanthropist, they definitely they give large sums of money on a regular business to their favorite causes. So a lot of these men do that also in addition to their building their wealth. Okay. So here is our next one. Now, Andrew Carnegie. So Carnegie is a Scottishman who is also a philanthropist, and he made his fortune in the steel industry. And basically what he did was he drove out competition by buying up all the different areas of making steel. And we'll get into that a little bit later on in the week. So he also was a philanthropist, and his big areas of philanthropy had to do with education primarily. So he was very much into donating to schools. He would donate to libraries. The public library system very much owes its start to Andrew Carnegie in a lot of ways. He did some research institutes that would, look at research for discovering cures for illnesses, diseases, things like that. He even ran a study to determine how we can abolish war, like what was the best way to achieve peace. So these were some of the good things about Andrew Carnegie. So Andrew Carnegie believed in what he called the gospel of wealth, and you're going to read an excerpt of that this week. So he was a big proponent of this, and essentially what that means is the wealthy should act as trustees for their poorer brethren or for their poorer brothers, those in society who are poorer, and that the very wealthy, like himself and others that we're looking at in this slideshow, should be giving money to those people. Our next person is John D. Rockefeller, another industrialist and philanthropist, and he made his fortune in the oil industry. He made his money by making deals with the railroads to keep out all the competition. So this unit, you're going to see a lot of discussion and in readings on how these big wealthy people who were involved in these industries were able to cut out the competition. So things like monopolies came into play, and then there had to be rules and laws passed against them buying up all these industries, but that's for another lecture. So Rockefeller made his money on railroads, and he also did give money to improve charities and institutions, things like public health and the arts, things like that. But you will also see, again, the whole idea of a monopoly coming into play with Rockefeller. Then you have J.P. Morgan, which is where the name of the bank comes from. And he is an American financier and banker. He dominated corporate finance and industry consolidation. So he was very into owning, again, all of the parts of making a product, things like that. And then there's some information about how he made some deals with General Electric and some other electric companies. But we will talk more about that at a later time. But J.P. Morgan, banker. That's what you want to know for him. Okay, now let's talk about Wall Street, 1867 versus 1900. In these decades, you see a very large growth of not just money in terms of wealth, but changes in the actual infrastructure of Wall Street. And so these two things kind of compare on what they look like. So here in 1867, you see, kind of a drabness and all of that. And then when you get to 1900, you see much bigger buildings and more kind of more people around and things like that. So anyways, that concludes the lecture on the robber barons versus these captains of industry. So you want to keep those two terms in mind, that the captains of industry are all the good things that these folks were known for, like the philanthropy, like giving jobs to those who would need it, pumping money into the economy through their industries. But then the robber baron idea of these same men has to do with taking money away, not paying workers as much as they should, buying up everything as part of their industry, like having a monopoly. So in our next time together, we will talk about whether these men really actually were robber barons or captains of industry. All right, until next time.